Welcome to Kingdom Mothers Rise Up, where I encourage and equip you to heal your heart and renew your mind so you can live the fully abundant life Jesus promised you. Let's go. It's time to move.
What do you do when it all feels important? You have your family and your business and your faith, and there's more to do than you can keep up with. How do you decide what to do, what matters most? I decided to record this podcast because that's exactly where I was today, and thought that walking through my process kind of in real time might be helpful. So I recognized this morning that I was feeling overwhelmed by all the things that needed to be done. And I was also probably feeling a little bit discouraged and weary by the fact that, telling myself I should know what to do. I should be able to do this better. It's a voice that I still fight a lot. And I recognized as I was journaling about it in my prayer journal this morning that rather than just saying I need a break or I need a reset, I was wanting to quit. I was like, okay, that's a bit extreme. So let's revisit that. And so for the morning, I had a call with my community, and I had a client call that went really well, but I still didn't know what I was going to talk about for the podcast. And I was like, well, my garden is drowning in weeds, and there's going to be slugs eating everything if I don't go down and do something. So since I don't have a podcast, instead of sitting here trying to force something and spend all this time being aggravated that I don't know what I'm going to say, I'll just go down to the garden. So I did. And when I got to the garden, it didn't go how I was envisioning it going, and changed plans there to look like, okay, I need to do the bare minimum to save the vegetables, and then go try again on the podcast. So I came to sit down to try and do the podcast, and still was like, I have nothing other than this pressure of feeling like, is this what I should be doing right now? Or should I be doing something that my daughter wants me to be doing? Or should I be doing the podcast? Should I be doing emails for my workshop? Should I be doing posts for social media? All these different options, and what's most important and what do I do? And recognizing that not only was there the pressure of, or the indecision of what to do, there was the pressure of feeling like I needed to pick the right thing, but also these expectations that I've mostly set for myself, that have come from coaches or just stuff you read online or whatever about, being consistent. And I can be very literal. So it's be consistent. You need to put on a podcast every week. It's in my mind, literally, I need to do that instead of most weeks put out a podcast. And then there's allowance for being human. And so there's going to be weeks that you don't, or take seasons off or whatever. But just recognizing that all of that pressure was there. So it's okay, just need to sort through this. How do I decide what thing matters most when it all feels important? So the first step is just listening to the emotions and the thoughts that are theirs. Like I said, recognizing that there's this pressure. And so when I stopped to write the thoughts that I was having. There was, you're pathetic. You don't have anything to say. You just need to get that done. And like, people are going to think you're asleep. And recognizing like, okay, none of those are my thoughts. That's all the enemy harassing me. And when I recognize like, oh, okay, a whole bunch of that pressure is coming from that place, then I could stop and see like, well, I actually want to do a podcast. I want to have something to say. I do believe that God has something for me to say. And then I also recognize that there was fear there. Like, if I'm not doing everything I can possibly do, am I still going to be serving well? Am I going to be attracting new clients? And so being able to see like, oh, part of why it's hard to decide is because like there's this mixture of, there's all the things that the enemy is saying that I hadn't clearly sorted out because I was keeping it all in my head. And then there's the fear, which is not a good motivation for doing things. And then there's the like mature, responsible spirit led of like, right, this is what I want to do. This is what I feel that has called me to do. So while physically I might be tired and want a break, that needs to be balanced with my responsibility and put in perspective of like, okay, how do you take a break and not have that be like just quit everything and don't do anything that you need to do. So recognizing like, if the only reason I'm doing it is out of fear, I'm not going to show up the way that I want to show up. It's not going to be the blessing that I want it to be. But by acknowledging that the fear is there, and then I can turn it over to the Lord and say, okay, right, I'm trusting you to do what I can't do. And I don't have to worry about trying to make anything happen. So I just wanted to share that kind of like real-time example of when you're trying to make a decision for your business or for whatever. And it feels like you just keep, I call it spinning out. And right now I'm blanking out on what other people call it. But that like you're just not getting anywhere. Slowing down to listen to and notice the emotions that are there and notice the thoughts that are there helps you to, and writing it down, like noticing in your head is good, but there's something super powerful about writing it down or typing it out that you're literally taking that thought captive. It's now on paper or on a screen where you can look at it and see all those you statements that feel icky, that feel condemning and heavy are from the enemy. And so if the enemy is telling me that I have nothing to say, that's a really good indication that I have something powerful to say. So that's motivating to keep moving. And rather than when it's rolling around in my head, thinking it's my thought, it is keeping me stuck and keeping me from moving forward. And I say, seeing the emotions and like, yeah, I'm feeling pressured and overwhelmed and weary and scared. Those all show me like, what do I need? And if I'm weary, I need rest and probably a perspective shift. And if I'm afraid, I need to look at what I'm afraid of and see wherever I'm afraid, there's a place that I'm not trusting God. So if I'm afraid that like I need to keep doing podcasts or emails or posts or whatever it is to keep getting clients, maybe there is wisdom in doing that. But if I'm doing it out of fear, I'm not trusting the Lord to make the connections and bring the people and do the things that He can do if I'm being faithful to do what I can do. And that doesn't mean doing everything. And sometimes the process involves more. Sometimes there needs to be some healing, some repenting, and it's different things that the Lord shows when He says seeing what those needs are and figuring out how are we going to get these needs met. It's a process that obviously I use myself on a regular basis, and then I use with my clients that teach you how to notice things, how to take your thoughts captive, and what to do with them once you do. And when you see the emotions, feel them and listen to what they have to say, but not let them continue to be in charge. And if you're not listening and not acknowledging them, they're more in charge than you think they are. I trust that is helpful, and we'll see you next time.